Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more Rule of Warships, and today we have a user replay from DeWeirdOut. He's been on my channel multiple times, and as always, if you are interested in showing me a replay, looking to see if I can show it on my channel, please go ahead and send it to hakaymgaming@gmail.com or go to my Discord and send me a link to the replay from WoW's replay. And I will take a look at it, and I will consider it to be shown on my channel. So DeWeirdOut is in the Tier 7 British destroyer, the Jervis, which, honestly, I'm honestly not that big a fan of this boat. I mean, it's not a bad boat. It does actually have torpedoes that can hit other destroyers, but the range on the torpedoes is not very impressive. It's 7 kilometers. Your T-Tech is 6.3. So overall, not very impressive. Now, he is joined with a few of his clan mates in the Algerie and the New Orleans. But the main focus of this video is actually good teammates. Besides, obviously, division mates. Division mates are obviously probably the best teammates you're ever going to get. But this video actually shows off teammates that are still good, that aren't actually in your division. Shocking, I know. Actually good players. Facetious, yes, I know. So, as you can see, he was almost torpedoed by the friendly Miyoko. Very nice there. But another reason why I wanted to point out this video is playing the objective is very key. I've talked about this time and time again, but I feel like I need to talk about it again because, once again, kind of like what I was mentioning in my previous video, how some players don't really play for the objective. They just kind of sit there and they damage farm, and that's kind of all they do, which is downright maddening for people who are wanting to play for objectives that are trying to win. I mean, the advantage of winning is it really helps you grind up a tier. It helps money, it helps with XP. So it's very beneficial to win. Now, a lot of people will damage farm to boost their PR rating, their personal rating, their PR. They're trying to get those high numbers, so it looks good. It makes you much more likely to be higher on the list as far as overall damage on a ship. It helps with your PR. So, yeah, a lot of people will do that. Now, at the moment, and I probably should actually mention this is a Tier 8 battle. Kind of light. There is a Massachusetts on the enemy team, Benson, but that's about it. Everyone else is Tier 7, except for one lonely little Baron. And Furutaka, actually that poor Furutaka, he is in a Tier 8 battle. That is really unfortunate. That's why you should not div with a tier higher than you, because that can happen. But we'll see how things go. So, starting off, DeWeirdOut's team does have control of C. As you can see, the majority of the enemy destroyers are over at B. He does drop torpedoes at the very edge of his limits. Shouldn't be any concern as far as actually hitting that Akatsuki, because obviously that Akatsuki is going to be really stupid if he decides to push all the way back. Now, the very nice thing about the Jervis, just like the Gajimata, it does have the ability to turn its turrets while completely facing forward, although if it does need to turn its turrets facing the stern of the ship, it is going to mean it's going to have to do a complete 360. Now, that Benson has been firing that entire time, and there he goes, takes out the enemy Benson. That is a devastating strike, and that has allowed DeWeirdOut's team to actually gain control of B and start capping it. Now, this is a good DD player because he's playing the objective, he's focusing on B, he's not pew-pewing with his guns, trying to get other people to spot for him while hiding in smoke. Granted, it's a British destroyer and smoke is quite terrible, but at the exact same time, he is focusing on the enemy destroyers, playing the objective, which is really, really good. So they do manage to capture B. The Jervis full speed out of his smoke. I don't really know. It looks like he finally decides to slow up there. A little bit too late. Does take a lot of damage. Honestly, probably should not have been that aggressive. To be perfectly frank, he should not have been that aggressive. Comes out of the smoke, is once again detected. Don't really know what this Jervis is doing. Now, DeWeirdOut does have a lightning that does spot the Jervis, and unfortunately doesn't get the kill, but hey, at least DeWeirdOut's teammate did. Division mate, I guess, is probably the more correct term. But as you can see, the enemy team have lost all but 2 of the destroyers. There's actually 5 destroyers in this battle, which is just absolutely crazy. But unfortunately for DeWeirdOut's team, they've lost 2 of their battleships, and granted they're only tier 6 battleships, but they're still battleships all the same, so losing battleships can be almost as bad as losing destroyers, because you really don't have that firepower potential at that alpha strike, better yet. So yeah, it's not the greatest. Does look like the friendly lightning does smoke up, begins opening up on the enemy Nagato. Fortunately, those torpedoes are not going to hit. That Nagato is using the WASDA hacks, so he's going to obviously dodge those torpedoes with relative ease, which is really unfortunate. Now, enemy Massachusetts is starting to push in towards B. Not a really bad decision. But unfortunately for the friendly Atlanta, he is now caught out in the open against a Massachusetts. And while the Massachusetts, granted, dispersion can be a little wonky at time, has really good secondaries and can melt a destroyer, let alone Atlanta, with relative ease. Now, DeWeirdOut hasn't used any smokescreen. He actually still has 6 charges, which is really beneficial. So if he needs to, he can at least smoke up and cause some amount of damage. Now, if they can get rid of that Helena, which is going to be really beneficial. Yeah, see, there goes the enemy Atlanta. Does look like the friendly team does manage to capture A, so they are very much in the cap lead, except for at the moment the enemy team is ahead in points, but not for very much longer. So things are still very dicey for DeWeirdOut's team. They are currently down a ship. And let's see, it looks like he's really wanting to get those torpedoes off against that Massachusetts. It looks like he's going to be a little aggressive. Ooh, this is very aggressive. Because he's now in detect. As soon as he gets around that corner, that Massachusetts is going to detect him. And the Jervis is not a very fast ship, and that's when the Minx does open up. Helena is also there, does use his smokescreen, drops torpedoes. Fortunately, doesn't take that much damage, but now he's actually able to at least pull away. Does have to be careful of that Minx. That Minx is kind of a fast ship. Now, if that Massachusetts is smart, he's going to just reverse, and he should be able to dodge those torpedoes with relative ease. Because those torpedoes were fired at a bow and target, and the target is able to reverse back behind an island. So fortunately for him, he is going to escape with no damage. But we do see at least the Minx is starting to pull in to B right now. Now, if only they could get some people to shoot at it, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, it does look like a few of DeWeirdOut's teammates are a little bit busy. It looks like the New Orleans finally opens up. Gets a hit, not much there. Minx going at full speed. And is he going to slow up at all? Using AP. The Minx, I'm guessing, is dropping smoke for the friendly Helena. That would be my guess. I honestly don't know why he laid down that smoke screen. Actually, no, the Helena is all the way up north. So that entire layer of smoke screen is completely irrelevant. And he barely did anything as far as damage to DeWeirdOut. So, yeah, I don't really know what the point of that smoke screen was. Now things are pretty dicey for DeWeirdOut's team. They've unfortunately lost one of their div mates. They are currently down about 3 ships, if I can actually count. They are currently down 2 ships. I do apologize. So yeah, things aren't the greatest right now. Now they still have 3 destroyers versus the enemy's 2. We know where both of the destroyers are, but the really sad, unfortunate things is the fact that their only battleship, their only tier 8 battleship, is currently hiding behind an island way back there. Look at that, total pro. Being in the best position possible. Now, DeWeirdOut does take out the enemy Minsk and does get his 2nd kill. Now, this battle is not a battle with very high damage. It's not the point of this video. Yes, damage, once again, is really super nice. But, once again, this is not the point. The point is that you should be playing objectives because you get more experience, more money if you play to the objective of the game. Now, unfortunately for DeWeirdOut, that is a Helena, and Helenas are pretty beastly. I would be very much afraid of that Helena, but fortunately it does look like that Helena is starting to pull away. New Orleans wisely does decide to use AP. Against a broadside Helena, Helena is very fragile on the side, so not a bad ammo choice there. Does get a fire, using every capability of DeWeirdOut just to forestall the potential win of the enemy team. The friendly team have actually managed to bring it back, and all that's left on the enemy team is the Akatsuki, the Lightning, DeWeirdOut in the Jervis. He does open up on that Helena, trying to get rid of him. Not a super bad choice. Fortunately, well, actually, majority of Helena's guns are going to be facing this way, but he can at least be a little bit nimble in the water and should be able to dodge most of those shells. He does at least have the health, which is really being beneficial. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's quite leading the Helena. Quite a bit of those shots are falling quite far back, and that's kind of the issue with the Jervis. It's not really a boat that's going to be very well suited at firing at long range. So, does have to be a little bit careful. Does have that smoke screen once again. And hopefully the friendly Akatsuki can at least spot for him. And, ooh, ouch. Yikes. And right now, ultimately, the enemy team have control. They have the potential of winning. Because all the major players that are actually doing something are the destroyers. The Akatsuki spotting, the Lightning is capping, and obviously DeWeirdOut is focusing that enemy Algerie. Does get a fire, does look like the Algerie does heal off that fire. And once again, it's a Jervis, very short smoke screen. Does mean he does have to move out, but can at least spot the Algerie for anyone that has potential of actually shooting at the targets. So, once again, the whole point of this battle is to show that you should play for the objectives. I know big damage games are always fantastic. They're always fun to see, seeing those beautiful numbers just racking up. But in this instance, this battle is playing to the objectives, and the friendly destroyers are doing that. They took out the main dangers to them, and they are focusing on capturing bases. Fortunately for DeWeirdOut's team, the Massachusetts decides to push out, and unfortunately for the enemy team, a lot of the cruisers are very, very low in health. Now, I'm actually kind of curious, how much health does that Alabama have? Alabama is still half health. Don't really, oh, nope. Nope, there goes the Alabama. Yeah, that Alabama was pretty much useless to DeWeirdOut's team. Secondaries are the main reason why the Alabama went down. Lightning does take out the enemy Helena. These 3 destroyers are pretty much the ones really kind of carrying this game. So, yeah, main point of this is just the fact that They should not. Ooh. Unfortunately, it looks like the Massachusetts does get the enemy lightning. Now, the Massachusetts, as I did mention, is a secondary build, more than likely. Honestly, I don't know anyone that would not go a secondary build with the Massachusetts. So Akatsuki is being extremely ballsy with only 1,000 points of health and is opening up against the Massachusetts. Now, as you can see, that was not particularly a great idea because obviously the Akatsuki does go down to the enemy Massachusetts. Now, DeWeirdOut has two options he can decide to do right now. He can decide to try to take out the enemy Massachusetts, you know, get the glory, get the Kraken, or he can play smart and he can just stay quiet because the Massachusetts is not going to be able to get around to capture B and somehow manage to get almost 600 more points to win the game. So all DeWeirdOut has to do right now is wait a minute and 47 seconds, and he's going to be able to win this game with no issue. Now, he does obviously have RPF, so he does know where the Massachusetts is, and it's pretty much obvious that the Massachusetts is going to try to go to B. Now, if, say, DeWeirdOut was a player that only cared about damage, would have attempted to try to get damage and try to kill off that Massachusetts. Don't get me wrong, 4,000 points of health on that Massachusetts is extremely tempting. Even I would be tempted. But once again, if he does open up and that Massachusetts gets a good enough shot, it is going to mean the loss of this game. And obviously, DeWeirdOut is playing smartly and is deciding to keep the distance. He can at least kind of stay close. There's no real harm in that. Just as long as that Massachusetts doesn't get within detect range of DeWeirdOut. So, yeah. The whole point of this video is don't be a dick and try to be a damage whore. Excuse the language. Don't really like to use that word very often, but that's pretty much what they are. Play to the objective because I would be extremely mad at a player that just tries to take the Massachusetts. I understand getting that kill would have been nice, but you would lose because if he gets a good enough hit, he's going to be able to outright kill you. And Massachusetts is trying to at least kind of figure out where DeWeirdOut is. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Jen.